Namaste, everyone, and welcome to part 3 of Anchor to Light in preparation for Wesak Festival. So we've covered the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path number 1. That's part 1, if you haven't seen it. Part 2, we did 2 right thoughts, 3 right words or right speech. Next was right action. And then right thoughts, right words, right actions, and right lifestyle. Okay, now we go to number 6, which is right endeavor or right exertion. Let me just put that in there for you. Right effort, right endeavor, right awareness, and memory. All right. Let me just make sure everybody can see this. So here we go. The thing to remember about the teachings is it's universal, regardless of your religion and culture. Oh, I just realized we have to invoke for blessing, so what comes out of my mouth has minimal distortion. To the Divine Supreme God, Divine Father, Mother, to all the spiritual elders, holy masters, to all the saints of all traditions, archangels, holy angels, and spiritual helpers, to my teacher, Master Chokok Sri Mahaguji Mailing, we humbly ask for your blessings. To the Lord Christ, to the Lord Buddha, thank you, in full faith. So it is. So here we go. Now, the Eightfold Path, just as an overview, basically are lessons for life. Again, I wish I knew this in my much younger years. Life would be much easier. It's like rules on living your life, regardless of your religion and culture. Okay? Now, so here we go with right effort and endeavor. Or it's also called right spiritual effort, right exertion. Depends on the translation that you get. But essentially, this is connected to the virtue of constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness. You know, you have right thoughts, right words, right speech, right action. And then you have right livelihood. But you just do it for a few years and you quit. That's called backsliding, right? To be successful in anything you do, especially your spiritual practice, there has to be constancy. And that's part of right spiritual effort and right exertion. And a lot of us have a tendency to go, oh yeah, I want to do many things at the same time. I want to spiritually evolve. I also want to start this, I want to start that. An example that we always use is something like this. If you have a 100-watt light bulb, okay, and that 100-watt light bulb is good. It just kind of lights up the room. Yeah, ambient lighting, that's good. But if you take that 100-watt light bulb, take that 100 watt of light, focus it into a very, very narrow beam, like a laser, it could cut through steel. And how does this relate to our spiritual practice, our spiritual path? Actually affects every part of our life. If you look at the people who are successful, they focus, right? If you look at the things that you have accomplished, it's not one of those, oh, I'll do it when I feel like it. It's something that we are determined to do and will persevere. So this right exertion, right effort, is a combination of determination and perseverance. Determination is the tendency to move towards our objective, right? I'm determined to go there. That's like targeting what you want. And as you target what you want, you move towards it. You have to keep going, even if you have obstacles, you have bumps, you have to take little detours, you keep persevering to hit the target. I remember one of the most famous metaphors that are used, or stories, is this disciple or this student went to his teacher and said, Master or Guruji or Rabbi, whatever you adapt it to your culture, I want to experience enlightenment. I want to be enlightened. The teacher says, okay, come on. There's a big bucket of water. You want to experience enlightenment? Grab his head, put it underwater. Finally, the teacher let him up. The teacher said, what did you desire the most? The student says, air. He goes, teacher said, if you desire enlightenment as much as you desire air, you will get it. Most people, oh, I like to be enlightened. Oh, I think I want to have more inner peace. Oh, I think I want to experience oneness with God. So wishy-washy. They don't get anywhere. As soon as some obstacle comes in, they forget their spiritual teachings. Right? As soon as some drama happens in their life, what happens? They forget their meditation. It's just like You see people, oh, namaste, namaste this, namaste that. And then something happens to them, like, I don't know, somebody slashed their car, or maybe the car doesn't start, or maybe somebody screams at them. All profanities come out of their mouth. And they become very, very angry. And they start saying, oh, how do I get even? I go, what happened to your namaste stuff? Oh, well, see what I mean? They get distracted because there was no constancy. So right spiritual effort means at any given time, you realize, you always remember, you are a spiritual being, have an earthly experience. And maintain your identity. You are the soul, a spiritual being, using the body, the emotions, and thoughts, interacting with the universe. Now, I want to share something with you that has helped me a lot. And this is what my teacher said many years ago. And you can just write this down as an acronym. URPM. Letter U, R, P, as in Peter, M. So URPM, U stands for understand. Understand the teachings. That comes with right thoughts. Well, it comes with right viewpoint, right thoughts, and right speech. So it comes with understanding, means you see things clearly, interpret properly, think properly, and then from there, the speech and actions follow. So understand the teachings. Now here's the critical part, which is remember. You go, of course I remember. The question is, will you remember the teachings when you're under stress? So understand the teachings, remember the teachings at the proper time. P means you practice it, and eventually M, you master. So URPM. I just kind of help me remember. You are the prime minister of your life. Now, most people, they just say, oh, I trust. It's good. Trust is good. You know, trust God and whoever you're learning from, like that person has a good track record, you trust what they teach you. But it's also important, remember, part of right thoughts, understand, don't take things blindly. Once you understand the teachings, you have to remember to practice the teachings. When you're about to scream and yell, you go, oh, wait, I'm not these emotions. I get to choose what thoughts and emotions I create. So instead of screaming at this person, I will regulate my speech. What should be the right thing to say? Right? Understand, remember it at the appropriate time, and then practice it. Okay, instead of screaming at the person or slapping them, you say, okay, I'll change the words, de-escalate, and maybe I'll shake their hand and say, hey, it's going to be okay. I understand what you're going through, whatever. So it's understand the teachings, remember it, and practice it at the appropriate time. And as we do this over and over again, repeated thoughts, words, and actions, remember in the previous segment, becomes habits. Repeated habits become virtues. Repeated virtues become your lifestyle, or or it manifests in your livelihood. Clear? So it's very, very important to have constancy of aim and effort in knowing who you are, remember it at appropriate time, and practice it so eventually you master. Now, one-pointedness in exertion and effort. Let me just go through this very quickly. In the 7-day purification, we go in more detail. So here I'm just picking some of the things I can share with you, the key points. And the book we always recommend is called The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. The One Thing. It's a very, very popular book, very, very good book. And the focusing question, which is the golden nugget in the book. What is the one thing you can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Oftentimes we try to do too many things at the same time, and we thought about it, maybe if there's one thing I can do, just by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary. The example we always use, I don't have time to meditate because I have to do so many things, and I get up late, so I do work, I have to get ready, a lot of these things, so that's why I can't meditate. So you ask, what is the one thing I can do, such by doing it, I will be able to do my spiritual practice? Well, I get up late because I went to bed late. And I went to bed late because I was surfing the internet, looking at useless websites and watching videos that are not relevant. And the reason I do that is because I get home, I don't really plan my night, so I go to bed late. And so by the time morning, even though I want to meditate, body's too tired, and I have to get ready, go to work. What is the one thing I can do, like what he calls in the book, the big domino? By topping that big domino, everything follows. Here's what I'll do. As soon as I get home, I already planned my night. I will get to bed at this time. So therefore, by simply making that schedule, I'll make sure to eat earlier, maybe spend time with family, with friends, whatever it is that you need to do. Put everything on a schedule. And so I'll go to bed at a certain time, and I'll get up in the morning early enough, still getting enough rest, and be able to do my spiritual practice. So the one thing is what? Making a schedule and following it. So just pick one thing you can do in your life that will make you achieve your goal. But don't make so many of them that you go, I got to do this. Back it up. Look at it from a big distance. What is one thing I can do that will create the domino effect? In a relationship, what is the one thing I can do? Oh, maybe I should always, when I meditate, project loving kindness. So by the time I meet the person, automatically I have a tendency to be more loving with my words. Or if I want to be more financially successful, maybe I should start saving and making an investment. Don't wait till, when I have more extra money. Just be disciplined. That one thing, every month, take this much out of my income, invest it. Whatever, just one pointedness is the key. We try to do too many things at the same time. That's why things don't work. So right effort, right spiritual effort, right exertion also means having focus. Now, a disciple, spiritual disciple, is an embodiment of discipline. That means you and I the soul, put the mind or the mental faculty, the emotions of the body in a certain, control. Like we control the mind, the body, emotions, so that they don't control us. And the ability to control the body, emotion, thoughts over and over again is what you call discipline. Now, I know I'm jumping a little bit because there's so much. I'll do my best to just, so I don't keep you here so long. When it comes to success in any part of our life, one thing I read, and I've used this many times also to remind myself, is, write this down, results happen as fast as we start. It's like, I want to have more inner peace. Okay. When are you going to start doing your meditation? When are you going to start reading those books? When are you going to practice? When? Remember? You've heard me say this before. You can have the greatest plan, you have the great intention, but if you don't have a schedule, nothing happens. So the schedule manifests as a start time. Intention alone doesn't do anything. Intention has to be followed up by what? Planning. Then you have to put a deadline in each of the tasks that you want to do in order to get to where you want. Otherwise, anybody can plan anything. It's when you put a schedule that makes it real. There's a Chinese saying that says, a goal without a schedule is just like a dream. It's a wish. A goal with a deadline or a schedule is a real goal. Try to remember. You meet friends on the street, haven't seen for a while. Hey, let's do lunch. You go, try this. When? Let me get your number now. When they back off, they're not serious. Your children, I'm going to do this. I'm going to clean my room. I'm going to apply to this college. You go, when? Right exertion, right effort means what? Making a deadline. Okay. What else? Here are the success questions. Write this down. You heard me say this many times. What is your objective? whether it be health, relationships, spiritual development, learning a new skill, money, finances. What is the goal? Clarify that goal. So the first question is what? Second question is, you guys remember this, why? Why do you want to attain it? This why question is so important too, because that gives you the determination. It gives you the perseverance. When you meet obstacles or setbacks, the why is what keep pushing you. And then, so what is your goal? Why do you want to achieve it? Now, what are the tasks? The how. So what, why, how? You notice the how is not so early, because when you really want something, your consciousness will create the different tasks to get there. I want it bad enough. Your mind will just expand itself and look for maybe this way, maybe this way, maybe this way. Because if you start with that, oftentimes we get discouraged. So the how should be after the why. So what is it? What is my plan? What is my objective? Why do I want it? How do I get there? And on each of the tasks, put a when. So what, why, how, when. And then after that, it's just a matter of doing it. Implementation. Okay? Let's see, what else? Now, some of you go, yeah, I get things done. Now, I remember my teacher said, right effort has to be guided by right knowledge and tempered with loving kindness. In other words, you've met the people who get things done, but they hurt people along the way. Or you have people say, yeah, let's do this, but they're mindless. There's no plan. They just keep charging forward. They're so impulsive, and they keep making mistakes. And then afterwards, they have to fix the mistakes. So, right effort has to be guided with what? Right knowledge. And then make sure nobody gets hurt. Let me give you an example. Many years ago, I have a colleague. And I remember my teacher said, he's really good, huh? He is very, very focused. He gets things done. So I admire this guy. And then later on, things fell apart. So I go, what happened? My teacher said, see, he's result-oriented. He gets things done. But on the way to getting things done, he's very, very intelligent. He plans everything. The problem is people got hurt along the way to reach his goal. So when that happened, guess what? The negative karma from the people getting hurt came back to haunt him. So the success he built dissolved. So right effort has to be what? Right knowledge, you plan things out, but it has to be accompanied by loving kindness and non-injury. All right, now, just make sure I got this. I don't miss any of the teachings. Next. Part of right spiritual effort is inner reflection. And this right spiritual effort, right effort number 6, leads to right awareness. So I'm just gonna roll into it. Right effort means practicing and meditating and practicing on the 5 virtues. Loving kindness and non-injury, generosity, non-stealing, constancy of aim and effort, non-laziness, honesty and non-lying. Last one is moderation, non-excessiveness. Now, why is this important? As we meditate on the mistakes we made, are we hurtful with our words? Did we steal? Did we take things that are not ours? Did we lie? Were we lazy? Were we excessive? So as we think of these things and meditate on it, we get to awaken the awareness within us. So for example, we look back, this past week, on the virtue of loving kindness, non-injury. Was I injurious or hurtful with my words? You know what? The other day I yelled at someone when I could have said it nicely. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Okay. Disintegrate that wrong idea and thought and tendency. Next time, if something like that should happen, where I'm being triggered, or this person comes along, I will watch my words. They'll be kind. They'll be helpful. Instead of just yelling at the person. So as we practice these virtues, again, I'm not going to go through it. You can read Master Cho's books. He goes through it. But essentially, it's being aware of the thoughts, words, and actions we generate. And awareness has many levels. Okay, let's just go through that part quickly. Number one, level 0. Let me see, I have this here. Okay, level 0 is no awareness. We already made a mistake. We didn't realize we're hurting someone, for example, with our words. Being oblivious. I'm sure you've seen people that they just keep yakking, not being aware to read the room and say, hey, your words are a little hurtful for some people here. So that's level 0 of awareness. Level 1, which is something better, is like, oh man, that day when I said those things, I didn't realize that what I said was hurtful to this religion or this group of people. Okay, I'm not going to do it again. So it's better than none. So next similar situation comes up, you're aware, there are some people belonging to this religion. I have to be careful what I say might be misinterpreted. Or there's a group of people, let's say men or women, where what I say would come across as being sexist, for example, right? You're aware because, last time I made that mistake. Okay, now I'm not going to do it again. So that level of awareness is better than oblivious. Something better would be, as you're doing it, you realize. So, for example, I'm giving a talk about a certain religion, okay? For example, I'd say, in the Catholic tradition, they have these different sacraments, and the sacraments are really meant to give the soul a certain structure. You don't really need structure if you're spiritually connected. For example, open my mouth, I shouldn't have said that. Because not everybody is that spiritually aware, so we need to have like a structure to guide us through life. But I opened my big mouth, I said it, you don't need a structure. So I catch myself, and I would say, however, it is good because a lot of people, they live busy lives, so they need a structure to follow, like rituals and sacraments. I mean, it's a save, but now that I'm aware of it, next time I'll be aware not to use those words again, to be more loving and kind. So you catch yourself because you have the awareness, say, oop, I'm making a mistake. Now, what's even better is because of that awareness, watch this, you already know, I'm going to meet this group of people. So I've learned my lesson. I'll be more aware to be careful with the words I say before I say them. So 0 is no awareness. Level 1 is, we made a mistake, at least we're not going to repeat again. Level 2 is, while we're making a mistake, we stop ourselves so the damage is minimal and we correct ourselves. Right? Level 3 would be, okay, I'm going to meet these people, so before I get there, I'm going to be careful with what I'm thinking, so I'll be careful what I say. So these different levels of awareness is how we develop spiritually. So right awareness could also be something we use in our everyday life so that we generate minimum or no negative karma because we're constantly aware of our actions, our thoughts, and our words. Okay? Now, on the virtue of constancy, aim, and effort, just this example I always use. If you guys remember the movie The Martian, remember that? Where Matt Damon was stuck in Mars? And for me, the favorite part, it's a good movie. The best part of the movie is when he came back, somebody asked him, what made you still have hope that you're coming back? And here's what he said. I'll quote you. He said, you just do the math. He was a scientist. You just do the math and solve the problem. And then on to the next problem, solve that problem. And solve the next problem too. And if you solve enough problems, you get to go home. In other words, one-pointedness. I want to go home. Let me solve this. Let me keep going to get my objective. Determination and perseverance. Right exertion, right effort. Okay? Now, let's see. Now, right awareness, we already talked about this. Being aware, as we learn the lessons in life, to remember. Remember in a few minutes ago, I think it's in the previous segment, understand the teachings, remember the teachings, and practice them. So that comes with right awareness, which leads to right memory. To remember our mistakes so we don't repeat them. So that's a form of right memory. Now, another way of right memory is something like this. Let me just put it in the right. it's connected to what the Buddha taught, which is forget the mistakes that people have done to us, but remember the good things people have done to us forever. Okay, let me just see if I have this here. Okay, here it is. Right memory. Forgive and forget the mistakes of others quickly. Remember others' kindness and be grateful for them eternally. Let me do it again. Forgive and forget the mistakes of others quickly. Remember we talked about forgiveness earlier, so you can sleep at night? And remember, when somebody's been kind to us, always remember it. And then if ever they need help, always be there for them and go the extra mile. That is called right memory. You do that over and over again, you can sleep at night. If you ever need help, people will be there for you. Right memory. Now, let's see. Here's another way of talking about awareness. As my teacher said, without understanding the cause, they will just keep repeating the same mistake. That's what my teacher, Master Cho, said. So, if we don't understand, hey, how come this relationship didn't work? Or how come you're having financial issues? If you don't think about it and say, maybe this relationship didn't work so well because I planted the wrong seed. Maybe I should have been more careful with my words, my thoughts, and actions. Maybe I hurt the person so bad. If we don't understand it, we won't learn from it. We won't have right memory, so the problem keeps repeating itself. Let's say money. Maybe, I was not careful with how I handled money. Or maybe I stole from someone, so the negative karma is coming back to me. Okay, from now on, I'm going to practice non-stealing, honesty with money, and to take it one step further, I'll be very, very generous. So these things come as together, right awareness, right memory. And you do this over and over again, part of right exertion. Okay. By the way, some of you might remember what the Lord Jesus did. Not all the time, but many, many times, when he healed someone, he'll say, go and sin no more. Remember that? So I listened to that verse many, many times at church, in Bible school. And then my teacher said, you know what that really means? It means that go and sin no more. Somewhere before in your lifetime or lifetimes, you must have planted the seed of this. So learn the lesson so that this doesn't happen again. So that's why go and sin no more. Don't create the karmic cause again. If you're having some form of financial issues, practice honesty in your financial dealings and be more generous. If you're having physical issues, the lesson is practice non-violence. And to take it one step further, practice generosity, giving money to charity. That helps people with their ailments. Now some of you go, oh, I'm the kindest person. I would never hurt a fly. Look, karma goes with the soul, not with the body. So we might not remember how we hurt someone 5 lifetimes ago, but the fact that we have in front of us the karmic effect of if we did hurt someone, we should just say, okay, I'm not going to resist it. Maybe I just forgot. But regardless, the lesson is I have to practice kindness, I have to practice generosity, and so on and so on. So that's part of awareness and right memory. Okay? Let's see. Oh, I want to share with you the law of opposites, which is part of it. The law of opposites, the Lord Buddha said, let a person overcome anger with love. So whatever the anger is, overcome with love. That's the law to make your life better. Overcome hatred with kindness. Overcome greed with charity. Overcome lies with truth. That is actually reflected also in the prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi. That's spiritual alchemy. Remember? Lord, make me a channel of your peace. Wherever there's hatred, let me sow love. Where there's injury, pardon and forgiveness. Doubt, faith, despair, hope, darkness, light, sadness, joy. Remember that? Sorry. So this alchemical process is based on the law of opposites. Whatever you don't want, you put the opposite energy on top of it, which is quite a genius if you think about it. I was reading this and I was meditating on it. Go, overcome anger with love. Most people, they go an eye for an eye, right? Fight fire with fire. That creates a bigger fire. How do you want to put out fire? Water. So the law of opposites is also part of right memory. In other words, if we've been hurtful to people before, the opposite of that is to practice kindness. Overcome anger with love, hatred with kindness, greed with charity, and lies with truth. Very good teaching. Now, let's talk about right concentration, right oneness. Right concentration is essentially connected to right spiritual effort, which is focusing. Now, when all is said and done, what is the most important thing that we should focus on? Oneness with God. You can practice oneness with the air, the ground. Some people say, oh, I'm one with the air. I'm one with the sun. I'm one with this. Those are good and wonderful, but they're means to an end. Because when all is said and done, the most important part is oneness with the universal source. Now you go, okay, how does that actually work in my life? It's very simple. As we do our meditation and spiritual practice, we're doing it. We quiet down the room. We make sure our body's in a comfortable place. No flashing lights, no anything. We just meditate. So we went from chaos to a certain order and rhythm, and things become calm. From that calmness, it leads to silence. Right? If there's no activity, things become quiet and calm, and you extend that becomes silence. In that silence, we experience that we're not the body, emotions, and thoughts, right? A lot of you, it's like when you're in deep meditation, it's as if you're floating in outer space, and yet you're conscious. So at that point, you realize you're the observer. As you keep meditating on the observer of who you really are, you experience deeper stillness. As you experience stillness, many of us in that stillness, it's almost like you're experiencing you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. It's like having an awareness 360 degrees, like your eyes are everywhere. Your consciousness, your sensation of the eye is not just here sitting, but expanded. And as you go deeper in meditation, you sense a connection with all. That is right oneness. So when you do our meditation and spiritual practice, that is the goal. The more we experience oneness with God and oneness with all, when you come back from a meditation, you experience oneness with all, then the virtues become easier to practice. For example, loving kindness and non-injury. If you experience you're connected to all, when you see someone screaming, yelling at you, you go, we're all souls connected to one source, and we're learning our lessons. So instead of judging this person, being angry with them, beating them up, he or she is a spiritual sibling, and I should practice kindness and patience with this person. That comes from what? Spiritual oneness. So, again, this is just a short outline of the Eightfold Path. You can dive deeper into it and study it, but it's something that we're supposed to remember every year. So that during the Wesak Festival, when so much energy is pouring down, we go to the purification of letting go of things that are not helping us evolve, and retain and remember all the virtues, all the lessons, those are amplified as the divine energy comes in. So during the Wesak Festival, as we do our meditations, let's approach it as clear as we can, purifying our thoughts, our emotions, our bodies, so when the energy comes in, the positive qualities be amplified. So tomorrow during the Wesak Festival, before we do meditation, again, join us at 3 p.m. California time. We'll have a short lecture again, the Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path. We'll do some cleansing. If you haven't joined us with a 7-day purification, we'll do some cleansing so that when the meditation happens, we can be as clear, as much of a channel to allow ourselves to absorb the energy and share it with our friends and loved ones. Now, a few things to remember. Write down all your goals, your aspirations, and wishes, so that during the Wesak Festival, as we do generate massive amounts of spiritual energy, you're not going to use up all of them. You're not going to absorb all of them. So after the meditation, have it in front of you, and we'll have a certain time to project all the energy into our goals, our wishes, and the people who need blessings for another year. Okay? I think those are the important stuff. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us. Again, I did my best to just give you an outline so you remember the teachings of the great teacher. Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path. And we'll see you at the Wesak Festival. Namaste. Let's give thanks. To the Divine Supreme God, Divine Father, Mother, thank you for the blessings. To my teacher, Master Chokok Sui, Lord Mahaguji Mailing, to all the great ones, to all the saints of all religions and traditions, to the Lord Christ, Lord Buddha, thank you for the blessings in full faith. And so it is. Okay. Happy Wesak Festival to all of you. Namaste. God bless.